Okay, the secret is out. I cannot possibly hide this from you any longer. The best neighborhood in South Asheville, the best location, the best proximity to all the amenities, super family friendly for anybody really. It is right next door to Mountain to Sea Trail, backs to Biltmore property, super private, yet minutes from everything that South Asheville has to offer. Straight ahead. Forest Lake neighborhood, located at the intersection of Sweden Creek Road and Rock Hill Road here in South Asheville. And the reason I say this is because once you pass that red light where Sweden Creek turns from 4-lane into 2-lane road, it's game over. Traffic gets bad. You're gonna have to deal with typical South Asheville traffic. And if you watched any of my previous videos, if you know anything about Asheville, you would know that South Asheville traffic is the worst, according to the locals. This neighborhood was established in the early 90s. All the houses here that you will see on this tour were built in the early to late 90s. There is one lot available here still for sale. It's been for sale on and off throughout the years. So there's still an opportunity to build a brand new house in this amazing location. You'll see why this lot hasn't sold over the years, but I want to show you what to expect from living in Forest Lake, and I'll give you some stats too, so don't go anywhere. Once you get into Forest Lake from Rock Hill Road, this is just one big loop. It's not a through road, so it's one big loop. There's nowhere to go from here. You just make rounds. There's several cul-de-sacs and several roads that will take you just to a small cul-de-sac like this one right here. But it just tells you that it is very quiet here, very peaceful, no through traffic. I mean, there will be some occasional cars that will come, and because people are looking for houses to buy, and this is a great place to be, but nobody will just drive through it because they are going somewhere, because they are on the way somewhere. And so pretty much anybody, people with families, retirees, people with or without kids, doesn't matter, love to be here. And a lot of times people who live here, they just move within the neighborhood. They don't move out of the neighborhood. They try to find another house, whether they are, moving up or moving down. They're trying to find another house within this neighborhood. It is not uncommon to see a bunch of kids, especially in the evening when it cools down, to just play in the neighborhood, play on the streets, run their bikes, play ball, or just run around the neighborhood. As you drive into the neighborhood, you immediately see the top of the mountain, some mountain views, greenery, a bunch of trees, very beautiful. And the centerpiece of this neighborhood is, of course, the lake. That's why it's called Forest Lake. It is so nice and refreshing. It's right in the middle. There's a picnic table or a couple of tables right by the lake. There's a little gazebo where you can just stop by and chill. That's what we do sometimes when we walk the dog and kids want to just chill out, take a seat, watch the ducks, and just throw some rocks into the lake. So this is not the lake where you can swim, but there are some people who come here, mostly kids, who come and fish, or we come here when we walk the dog and just sit in the gazebo and just chill out, take a break, feed some ducks, or just throw some rocks into the lake. There's also picnic tables, and the community has their events like Easter egg hunt and stuff like that right here on this nice shaded among the trees by the lake little community area. And so get this. All this property that you see behind me, this whole basically part of Forest Lake that goes along this road on this side is adjacent to Biltmore property. And so what that means for a lot of people who live on this side especially is that most likely that part of the property will not be developed and you will not see any neighbors. You're just back to the woods, right? privacy, it's tranquility. You're just looking at the woods. You're not having the views of the mountains necessarily, but you have the views of the woods, and it's super private. There used to be an access to Mountain to Sea Trail right through here, right through this part of the neighborhood, but about, I want to say 10 or 7 years ago, Biltmore actually put a fence so that people will not be able to go through their property to access Mountain to Sea Trail that is right behind it. So there's a big fence. And so excuse me, commercial break. And so years ago, I want to say maybe 7 or 10 years ago, we and the residents of Forest Lake used to be able to access the trails of Blue Ridge Parkway right through here. But then, of course, Biltmore came and said no more trespassing our property and going on your hiking trails. And they put a big ass fence all throughout their property to separate this neighborhood so that nobody will be able to come through. So HOA fees of only about $300 a year, which if you break down by months, it's really minimal, cover things like these common areas, the pond, there's a fountain, there's a playground right across the street from this lake, and some, common areas basically. And so it's not super restrictive, and I would like to remind people that a lot of covenants and restrictions, a lot of HOAs are not just restrictive, but are also protective. That way you do not have neighbors who are doing whatever they want to do in and on their property, but have some kind of sense of, community and sense of unity and sense of sameness within the community. And this is a great example. Most houses were built anywhere from early to late 1990s here. So you do not see necessarily very modern floor plans or very modern houses. However, some homes were updated and upgraded and brought up to speed. Most houses will have, not so modern floor plan, let's just say. Median sales price right now is almost $600,000 for a single family home in Forest Lake. And that can buy you a house that is anywhere between 17 to almost 2,000 square feet in size. The style of homes in Forest Lake varies. There are a lot of one-story homes that offer that one-level living, kind of Asian place. There's a bunch of homes that are one-story but with a basement where garage will be on the lower level and you do have to climb the steps. There's also houses that are two-story homes, your traditional two-story home. So there's a variety of options when it comes to homes and home styles and prices and sizes. I've seen houses that are as small as 1,600 square feet in size up to, I think the biggest one I saw was over 3,000 square feet in size. So that is why people who live here and who want to move up or move down, they are moving within the neighborhood. They're not even looking anywhere because this location is so great. So here is that playground that is actually pretty new. They just put it, I want to say a couple of years ago, here right across the lake. And we're just gonna go on one giant loop and I'm gonna show you different styles of homes that are available here. Little local library, take a book, put a book, and I mean, that is not new. I see it in many different communities these days. Many different communities have this, but not many communities, especially here in South Asheville, have this proximity and convenience to all kinds of things, like, just a sec, you are minutes to several different grocery stores, 4 at least, let's see. Fresh Market, Publix, Ingles grocery store, Whole Foods, Walmart, so that's 5. 5 grocery stores are within about 5-7 minutes, depending on traffic. This neighborhood in particular belongs to T.C. Robertson High School. Look it up if you are looking into schools. Estes Elementary School is part of this neighborhood as well. You have several private schools, including Carolina Day School that is within 5 minutes from Forest Lake, and of course several different charter schools, which charter schools are public schools, but you have so many options just for schools and activities for kids. The only indoor playgrounds in Asheville are located right here in South Asheville. Mountain Play Lodge, Launch AVL, where you can just jump, you and your kids can jump. All kinds of shopping and dining that are right here in South Asheville. And I know it's not like, you know, the rest of Asheville. There's more of, you know, franchise feel and generic vibe to dining and shopping here in South Asheville, but there's a number of local places that are coming to South Asheville as well, and that is amazing. That is great. We welcome them here. So, by the way, this is an example, and I know it's hard to tell because it's so overgrown. Right behind me is a vacant lot. That's that only vacant lot that is available in Forest Lake. It's been for sale on and off throughout the years. Again, it's hard to tell, but I'll show you why in a second. And basically, the reason why it hasn't sold is because it is, guess what, steep. From here, it just drops down, sheer drop. And to give you a better idea what it might look like if you build a house on this vacant lot, let me show you the neighbors. This is one of the houses, and that's your traditional two-story home. Look at the driveway. The house next door has the same pretty much situation. Those are, you know, steep driveways. And so you have a two-story house, another two-story house, a one-story house next door that is has a basement and a garage on the lower level, so you would have to go up the stairs. Then there are one and a half story house like this one. Hello. And so if you live here, you know, and walk your dogs or kids or play or go outside, most neighbors will know you. Most neighbors will say hi to you and sometimes run your ears. You know, but what I'm saying is that everyone is generally so friendly here. So Forest Lake is a very walkable neighborhood. There are no sidewalks, as you can see, but you can walk on the roads no problem all the time. It is not gonna be a walk in the park. Can you hear? I'm out of breath. Well, it is warm, but also it's not a flat surface. So you go up and down, up and down. It's a good workout, by the way. These are all the lucky houses that are adjacent to Biltmore property. Their backyards are back to Biltmore property. They have nothing, they have nobody there. Right now they have a fence, but you can't even see it. It's not like a wooden fence. So it's pretty awesome on this side of the neighborhood, but in any case, it's pretty awesome anywhere. You just have to pick where you want to be and what is available. Homes here go very quickly because it is a very desirable neighborhood, and it truly is. If you're thinking about coming here and you want to be here, if you see something, you gotta jump on it. Don't have time to wait and think about, just have to jump on it, okay? And I'm here for you because I'm keeping an eye on this particular area every day. I'm not even joking, every day. Forest Lake is located in city limits, so keep that in mind. You will pay Asheville city taxes and county taxes, so it's going to be a little more expensive. But, you know, I guess you just cannot have it all. When you want convenience, when you have a sense of community, when you want and can have this super established neighborhood where people do things together for Halloween, for Easter egg. They have an annual huge yard sale once a year. Speaking of friendly neighbors, one of them was just telling us that we can come by and get some of his peaches before bears would, because there will be bears here we have bears here, okay? And look at this. This is like fresh food for them. They don't even have to go and look through your trash. They all kind of
a lot of people
hard.
have been picking them.
Oh yeah?
Some are ripe, some you just gotta put like in a paper bag or something.
Yeah.
Huh?
Got some peaches. It's, you know, us and bears, right? We gotta share everything with bears, deer, but these are ours now. Try climbing that hill back up. It's gonna be a real workout, but look, you can also enjoy the view of the mountains, friendly neighbors, and get your steps in. So win-win. Usually out of breath if I'm not stopping and taking breaks, but my little guy these days makes me stop. Not this little guy, this little guy. Now, if you're still not convinced because of HOA, I know a lot of people don't want to have HOA for various reasons, even though, like I said, HOAs and covenants and restrictions are not just restrictive, they can be protective, trust me. Right before you get to the actual neighborhood, to the actual association, all these houses right here on this street are adjacent to Forest Lake, but are not within HOA. They do not pay HOA fees. No restrictions from HOA and stuff like that, but you still get to walk in the neighborhood, and you still are within walking distance to mountain to sea trail and all that good stuff.